Welcome back, everybody, to the Brightworks and another match of Beyond All Reason, where today we're going to be taking a look at a game that was very recently played and submitted over on my Discord channel here on Erebos Lake. Apparently a little bit of a interesting quote-unquote dog pile happens in this match. I was curious what that meant. I'm not sure exactly what that entails. Maybe a bunch of commanders fighting it out in the middle of this map. There's certainly opportunities for that sort of thing. I'm very excited to see how it goes down. I'm gonna go ahead and say it, my favorite map on Beyond All Reason. I feel like it's unfair to keep saying that, oh, this one's my favorite or that one's my favorite. I think I better rubber stamp it. I think I'm gonna call Erebos Lake probably my favorite. No, definitively my favorite. Need to stop doing that. Anyways, those of you that have been here a while, you certainly are aware of how flip-floppity I am about which map is my favorite. It's because we just have so many good ones. I want my Pit of Azar back, though. I won't be happy until we have Pit of Azar back. Anyway, side tangents well aside, we have our blue team leader today. Spawning as an Armada commander well into the backline right here of the blue team, a commander that goes by the name of Raiko. Raiko coming in at 48 open skill silver chevrons, gonna be showing us what they've got here as a backliner. Now, this position is interesting. In fact, all the backliner positions are pretty interesting on this map because of this geothermal. What it means is that you usually have to choose, and I see that the red team has chosen to put I Am Legion in the air spot, but sometimes what we might choose to do is put the air spot on the geothermal so that you can go for those very energy expensive bombers really early on. Not gonna be the strategy here, as Zek appears to be going for tech. Zek the tech. It rhymes, so it must be true. Our Pounder Blue Commander are going to be in charge of all things technologically advanced, going up to that T2, probably doing a very refined sort of T1 into Geothermal, into Sacrifice Commander, into T2, all that sort of very, very stock standard stuff. All the way across the map, spawning in the water right here, getting their toes wet, it's none other than Fiddler 112. Going for some of those Cortex boats, pumping out a frigate right now and building some tidal generators as well to try and keep up the energy demand for those very, very expensive boats. Oh, sending a bunch of metal right here to 90k metal. Huh. Oh, I see. We're buying a construction bot. That's a little bit more than it costs to buy a construction bot, almost twice as much as it takes to buy a construction bot. Maybe we're buying two. Yeah, the red commander here, dumping a lot of metal to his ally. Now, it's not the end of the world, and obviously sharing is caring, but as a Navy commander, really, you do have to fight for each and every single scrap of metal that you can possibly afford. At the very least, I'm glad to see that we are going for these T2, or not these T2, these 2.0 metal extractors under the sea. Huh. Will it come back to bite the green commander? Well, considering we've already got gunboats on the way across right here from Watch Me Do This, the green commander, the lime green commander, are going to be in charge of the Navy sector, who actually neglected all of the metal extractors on the land. Interesting. A lot quicker into the water, but of course it means a lot slower on the land here. Now, we do have a constructor to go build all these mexes, which is quite nice, but yeah, definitely delays your economy a little bit here, and we do see that indeed the green commander is completely out of metal. The red commander, again, out of metal as well, but would have had another extra, 100 or so if we had paid the normal price for that T1 constructor here. Either way, gunboat's in the backline right here, so it necessitates a little bit of a response. A transport flying across. What on earth? What are those transport? Just take this. I don't know. Anyway, transport available here for Chief Panda. Not sure why I flew over to the middle of the map, but anyways. Frigates. Eventually cleaning up these gunboats, and all said and done, a nice deflection right there from the red commander. Yeah, actually losing nothing on the front lines right here. A couple of tidal generators still remain up and standing. We did have that E-converter pop. That's really not the end of the world. Only costs energy anyways, so not necessarily the end of the world to lose that here for Fiddler, but Watch Me Do This, claiming this high ground right here with these metal extractors is definitely very valuable. Going for some wind turbines to try and fund the rest of this here, and we do have the energy economy building in the backline here as well. Always lovely to see an Armada commander building those wind turbines. That's a very passive way of scaling your economy, but on maps like this where wind speed is quite good, it definitely helps. It can definitely get quite a lot of value out. Northern side of the map, it's going to be, gosh, that name, the brown commander going up against the purple commander. Oh, interesting. A pivot into Navy. That's very expensive. Very, very expensive, and we do still have our bot lab up and running and producing units right now. It's viable, it's certainly viable, but it is super expensive, and so if you don't manage to get value, if you don't manage to use these naval units to push over to this side and lock down this choke point so that the enemy can't push into your sector, you can definitely find yourself in a really tricky situation. Not to mention, of course, getting those boats out. Yeah, it's so much metal and so much energy. Ugh, I don't know if I like that quite yet. We'll have to wait and see. Of course, it does allow you to build those tidal generators a little bit nicer with those, gosh, what are they called? With those naval construction boats. LLT is coming up here, defended by the blitzes and the rocket trucks. Rocket truck's actually fairly good against grunts nowadays. Yeah, what is that? Leaving that grunt at 69% HP. That's quite nice. Very, very good damage. They, I believe it was about a 20% damage buff from when they used to have their tracking to now. That's quite considerable. We do now have 3 commanders vying for control over the middle here. 90k metal, the hot pink commander, establishing a nice little barricade over on the left-hand side, making sure to fortify all this. We do have the constructors here building some construction turrets. I'm curious what the idea behind those is. We do have more and more units coming out of the backline here, so are we looking to... Oh, we're going to T2 really early. Okay. This could work out. The plan here, if I'm reading this correctly from the red team, is to converge on Watch Me Do This and to try and overrun that commander with commanders. We have Chief Panda, Fiddler, and 90k metal all available. 3 versus 1 is definitely going to go in the favor of the red team, but you have to be so careful not to chain react into each other. You can imagine one commander explodes into another commander, and the other 2 standing next to it take a little bit of damage from both, but combined it's enough to blow apart both of the commanders or all of the commanders. It's definitely a risky situation, and then you're down 3-1 commanders, and it's a fabulous trade for the blue team. I like the idea, but it has to be carefully executed here, so the, well, the execution, I guess, is what we're going to have to wait on. Okay, Dylan going for a Navy transition as well. Matching pace, step for step here. The purple commander also going into Navy, but going to take a fabulous trade against that first frigate. Not even losing the Dolphin right here is wonderful. Can always repair up those ships here as well. And already, yeah, the brown commander has lost the naval battle here. Going for a destroyer. Ah, it's so risky, so greedy. Will it work out? I don't know. It's such a small pond. The rush distance is so small that 2 frigates is more than enough advantage already to go across and kill. Yeah, I think Dylan suspects that and starts sending the naval units forward, at the very least. Watch me do this, trading out with Chief Panda. Boom goes the lime green and the tan commanders right there. 90k metal rushing in to try and absorb as much of this 90k metal as possible. Well, it's about 2,500. Probably closer to 2,000. How much? Hold on. Oh, where's my metal vision? It's not kicking in on that. Here we go. We can do it the old-fashioned way. Yeah, 2,500 metal. The math wasn't quite mathing right there. Quite a lot of, Watch me do this, trying to degun the Rex here. Instead, gonna just trade out the commander. Oh, okay. Missing that wreck. Yeah, 90k metal trying to preserve as much of this as possible. Look at that body blocking. Oh, that's adorable. All right, well, there you go. 2 more commanders added to the pile. 1 removed, but 2 added. Means we have 3 commanders worth of metal now sitting in the middle of the map right here. Yeah, we need to get on top of resing this. We do have the resbot, or reclaiming this. We do have the resbot right here to try and absorb as much of this as possible. Cheeky air constructor trying to eat up some of that metal here as well. It's going to be Fiddler, though, who absorbs the majority of that metal. I would appreciate seeing it sent back to the T2 player in the back here. Just dumping metal into that T2 commander just so that we make sure that we constantly have enough metal to produce. Fiddler's lab, by the way, paralyzed. What an annoying play. Yeah, because you don't usually go for build power until a little bit later on. Actually, paralyzing this lab really hurts. It's actually decaying right now. I don't know if I've ever seen that play. The Shuriken paralyzing this lab, and because the air player was in the middle of a T2 transition, there's no fighters in the sky in order to shut any of this down. What an unfortunate situation for the red commander Fiddler. What a tricky, tricky spot. The corpse is D-gunned down right there. This is the 3rd commander now handed over to Watch Me Do This. We do have the frigate firing away, though. Frigate triggering the flanking damage right here, meaning that Watch Me Do This did a little bit more damage. Can we repair the commander? We get some repair micro here. A little bit of repair micro goes a long way, and this commander might survive the 1v1. Navy's heavily contested over there. Southern side locked down tight right here by the cyan blue commander, Tony Chopper. Heavy laser tower holding the line right here, but it does fall to the grunts and the aggravators pushing forward. Chopper trying to hold on here. Those aggravators are in a swarm though, and they're difficult to deal with once they get up to numbers. A couple of resbots to patch all this up wouldn't be the worst idea, just patching up the heavy laser tower and eventually eating up that commander here as well. Gonna go for a beamer turret. Wouldn't mind spending the metal, yeah. Tony Chopper with loads of metal in the backline right here and no effective build power to spend it. Looks like we're trying to remedy that one construction turret at a time, but that's a very, very difficult thing to resolve. Oftentimes, it comes down to how well you've scaled in the backline semi-passively. Watch Me Do This now aggressively pushing forward into Fiddler 112. Both looking for any opportunity that they can find. Ooh, Shuriken coming across once more. Yeah, paralyzing some of the LLTs, opening up an opportunity right here for Watch Me Do This to move in. Looking for a D-gun. Nicely done. D-guns connect with 2 out of 3 of those turrets. Destroyers over here were firing away at one of them. Yeah, they're looking for the opportunity, but not finding it super easily. Watch Me Do This slowly encroaching while the platypus sneak around. Platypus immune to torpedo launchers, which does make them a viable way to harass the Navy player over here. You can see torpedo launchers set up, but they can just swim right on past that. They make no noise under the water where the torpedoes actually collide, so they can't actually do anything with that. Dylan, by the way, sweeping away the commander over on this left hand. I didn't catch it, but you can see, yeah, 4K medal pointed out right here by the brown commander, who is now forced out of the water. Has a couple of torpedo, well, a single coastal torpedo launcher, but not really going to be worth all too much with all that metal down the drain here. At least improving the economy, and that's great. But we need to see some sort of aggression right here, using that T2 economy to actually do something. The purple commander actually a little bit behind on the T2 transition. Not quite up to T2 speed here yet. Raiko well into a T2 transition, going into, I imagine, a fusion reactor here. We're quite low on build power. Oh, a nuclear launcher. Ah, okay. So Raiko going for a end-all be-all strategy, looking for a nuclear opportunity path. A couple of platypus pushing forward right here, forgetting the name of those amphibious bots. Nicely put down here by a couple of welders, saving the T2 constructor right here of the green commander. Oh, that's the blue commander sacrificed right here. Blown up intentionally for the resources available. Not bad. Going to help out with constructing that nuclear launcher. All lines look essentially well held. T2 lab coming up very far forward on the front line right here for TA8. Trying to get that T2 lab set up right here. We do have, yeah, a nice spread of T2 mexes in the backline right here, but definitely not completely set up here. Still going for that T2 transition. I'm not sure how much I like this T2 lab in tandem with the T2 transition. Usually that's a little too expensive to afford. The red team planning to bomb this commander, apparently. Watch me do this, retreating to the backline to try and repair that commander, no doubt. Also in desperate need of some more build power here. Once those T2 mexes come up and online, the build power will be paramount to success, making sure that you have enough to actually pump out those boats with enough force. Bolts and screws and heavy metal plates, you have to put it all together, otherwise you don't really have a boat, you just got a blueprint. T2 lab never came to be. But we do have a T1 lab now coming up and running right here for the hot pink commander on the front line. Maybe a spam opportunity we're looking for here. With the Navy controlling this section, it means that this line of opportunity is open and available to harass the lavender commander. Could certainly be an opportunity path that the red team is eager to exploit to find some kind of advantage here. Quakers received a little update, by the way. When they're standing still, they spread their legs and stand up on edge. Oh, I love that. That's so beautiful. Makes them look like siege tanks is what it reminds me of, but they kind of have like a spider-like look as well. Yeah, they've got that like almost, yeah, spidery body with the cage in the back and the little head on the front. Man, I think that looks good. Every time we get a visual update, it feels like we just make so many improvements. Really feels like this game is coming together as like a unique product all on its own. I love to see it. Quaker's definitely not the, you know, not the definitive unit of this game. I would say probably this game is mostly defined by its T3 units, its gigantic units, but certainly every little one of those details contributes towards a beautiful aesthetic. I'm certainly thrilled about it. T2 pushing forward right here for the orange commander. We do also have T2 up and running though for Tony Chopper, the Mauser as well as the Starlight, which should be plenty to push this back right now. No reason why this actually isn't enough to push this back. I feel like the only thing we're really lacking here is radar jamming. If we have radar jamming and we have a radar tower, I guess we could just set up towers with the commander as we step forward here. Yeah, there's no reason these units should be pushed back. Single platypus scaring the entire army back here? I'm not sure. A little bit of an overreaction, I feel like, from Tony Chopper. Maybe a little unconfident in how much he can actually afford to push in there. Platypus continually finding opportunity paths. Yeah, they're now into the backline. The blue commander struggling to deal with a bunch of these platypus that have run right back and into the wind turbine farms. Wind turbines on this map, certainly painful to lose. This is a significant portion of the blue economy here. If we just highlight the wind turbines here, it's, yeah, about 2,000 energy. Very, very important. Nuclear missile is charged and sent across the map. What are we targeting? Oh, we're targeting right into the red. Oh, no, pardon me. We're targeting the yellow commander's base. We have an anti-nuke. Oh, anti-nuke just about finished, but the nuclear missile is already charged, firing away right here. Do we have an anti-nuke in this base? We do, but it's not charged either. Oh, no. Nuclear missile up in the air, and away it goes, headed directly towards Blossom's main base. The yellow commander fleeing for his life. You can see Blossom running away, fearing the imminent demise of a thermonuclear detonation. Boom goes the base of the yellow commander, leaving behind not a scrap for the yellow commander to rebuild with. Luckily maintaining at least a single advanced metal extractor and a couple of wind turbines, going to rapidly escalate massively escalate the speed at which Blossom can recover here, but there's no denying that that is a massive, massive hit. A little bit of build power shared over to Blossom. That's always good to see. The build power is probably the hardest thing to rebuild because any amount of your T2 economy stays up and online and you can recover pretty quickly. But if you don't have any build power, it's really difficult to figure out a convenient and, well, efficient way of getting back into the game. Nuclear bombing was the plan, by the way. Blossom had that nuclear bomber up and queued, but didn't manage to pump it out before the missile struck. Hopefully anti-nukes are up and completed for everybody else. We do have an anti-nuke ship available for the red commander. Hopefully we keep that sort of towards the base. We need to make sure that, yeah, everything's nice and well covered by anti-nuke. Anti-nuke coming up for the ground commander here as well. Not quite finished either. We are looking for those anti-nukes all around, but none of them are so charged. Because that missile fired immediately, it does, of course, mean that the second one is going to have to try and race anti-nukes all over the place. So, for instance, in the backline here, this nuke, or anti-nuke, pardon me, will be charged up before the other one. But any of these other ones that are a little bit orange are not going to be charged quite yet. Yeah, this one in the center, the tan commander's anti-nuke, not quite done. 1,500 for that anti-nuke. I wonder if going for an anti-nuke bot would have been a better idea. 1,150, slightly cheaper for 30,000 energy versus 38,000 for the Citadel. Yeah, maybe an anti-nuke bot wouldn't have been a bad idea. Just to get it out ever so quicker. Not a monumental scale, but every second counts when you're racing a nuke. Are we gonna send it? That's the third and final green commander going down right there in the middle of the map. Platypus finally securing the kill over there, and we do have another missile charge, not firing away right here. We're against the clock, so not seeing that fired is a little bit of a bummer. The frontline facility killed right here for Talaro by a whole bunch of these seaplane bombers from the purple commander. Looks like we've transitioned out of the seaplanes and back into T2 on the land here using those construction towers, which is quite nice. Bombing down that T2 facility before it can be finished, or before it can be reclaimed, meaning that way fewer of the resources can actually be extracted there. Fighters eventually shooting those bombers down, or trying to at the very least. Flag turrets making good work of them as well. Very nicely done. Second nuclear missile up in the air. Away it goes. Anti-nuke moving to intercept. Oh, there we go. Beautiful. Trying to get a camera angle of it, accidentally cut it out of the picture. It's a T1 Navy escorted by a anti-nuke ship. I suppose that's a good thing, but it certainly would be better to put a bunch of despots in there. We do have despots coming up, by the way. It's actually interesting to see 90k metal pivoting into the Navy right here, but it makes a lot of sense, especially on a map like this. Winning the Navy field essentially means you've won the entire backline here, because a capital ship is able to reach out and kill 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 bases. Keeping your Navy up and alive is extremely critical on this map, so it's impressive to see the red team putting such a focus on it. I think it makes a lot of sense. Big old Marauder run by, up and ready right now from the hot pink player, who's been doing nothing but teching in the backline, just making sure to get up to those T3. We've done a fabulous job of going up to exactly the right amount of eco before going into enough Marauder, right? Going into about 4,000 energy production and then about 100 metal per second. Means you can start pumping out Marauder at a decent pace, and you can get enough of them across the map before your opponent really has any sort of suitable defense. These ones are kind of mucking around here, fighting a bunch of platypus. Yeah, I think this is the right idea here. Just go, go, go. Send those Marauder forward before there's any time to react. And here they go. Do we have any sort of a response? Not really. Oh, okay, we're pulling all the Marauder to kill this commander. I think we need 3 of them. There we go. Commander killed right now. I think these Marauder, if they had been sent forward faster, would have been able to do a lot more damage. At this point, Tony Chopper has moved into position. Oh, nice D-gun right there from the Cyan commander. Manages to kill 4 of the... Oh, no, what are we doing? Ugh, you're scaring me here. These Marauder could be a game ender right now, but if we micro them directly into commanders for the D-gun, all hope will be lost. Look how sore these Marauder are by the time that they get into the backline, because they spend so much time fighting over here. It means that really, they're not going to have much sustain left to actually keep fighting in the backline. E-converter's popping, that's quite nice. Wasps up in the air though, already trying to blast down those Marauder. There we go, eating up. You know what, all said and done, a fine defense. Not bad. Frigates jumping on top of the despots, tickling those heavy battleships. Despots not feeling a thing as those frigates fire their light Gauss cannons. And this is a well-won naval victory right here. Obviously, this is 2 commanders, if not 3 commanders, all focusing on naval production right here. So it's well worth mentioning that this is an unfair battle for Watch Me Do This, who's been fighting uphill basically this entire game, 1 on 3, as the graveyard in the middle of the map would indicate. But now finally destroyed. laid to rest. And racing against the clock here as this northern side is crumbling too. Watch me do this, calling a resign vote, the purple commander trying desperately to fight it. Mauser firing away here with the assistance of the ticks, giving them quite a lot of vision here in order to fire away. But if those platypus actually just jump forward, I feel like they might be able to win this. Platypus with a laser beam, actually fairly effective against ticks, ironically. Not a unit I would normally consider using to thwart ticks. I would probably opt for a welder if I had to choose, but yeah, actually faring quite nicely against ticks. Better than most, I would say. Certainly better than something like a hound or a sharpshooter, anything like that. Mauser taking their sweet time, just inching closer to the base over here, but there's nothing left in the tank for the brown commander. And with that pop-up turret gone, oh, we do have a persecutor coming up in the line. Oh, we need to focus that persecutor down. If we kill the persecutor, this works, but if we don't, then it doesn't. Persecutor firing away now. Oh no. Persecutor under heavy fire now. Mauser firing away at it, trying desperately to pop it. Sharpshooters also blasting away at a whole bunch of those Mauser mobile artillery tanks. Sharpshooters very good, but they do take quite a long time to recharge. Peeling apart that Mauser ball. Will they manage to snipe the Aphis? I do believe so. Aphis disappears right there, and the sharpshooter are overwhelmed by a bunch of ticks sprinting forward as well. Someone pointed out to me, by the way, in the comment section of the last video that the sharpshooter, the sniper bot, actually only takes 500 energy to shoot. I wanted to check that just now because I wasn't quite sure about it. Yeah, 500 energy, okay. So that definitely skews the math backwards. The reason I brought it up is because I said that if they take 1,000 energy to shoot, then it actually costs more to shoot a sharpshooter than to build a tick. But I think the math is back in the favor of the tick here. So there you go. Seal of approval. Use ticks to stop sharpshooters. Or pardon me, use sharpshooters to stop ticks. Confirmed. No, obviously not a good counter to ticks. A counter to tick, but not the best counter to tick, certainly. Uh-oh. Anti-nuke blows up. Bombing run directly on top of that citadel will bring it down, exposing this midsection to nuclear harassment. We do have an anti-nuke available. Actually, I think we're going to be perfectly fine. Yeah, we have an anti-nuke launcher over here for the brown commander, left up intact, but it does leave a small gap right here for the yellow commander to be attacked by nuclear launches. We do still have that nuke. Oh, and it's up and away. No anti-nuke fired yet. Oh. Wow, right into the middle right there. There was the tiniest little sliver of no anti-nuke production. And you can see right in the middle there. We had an anti-nuke coming up and online, but it wasn't quite finished yet. Marauder now rushing up the shore right here. Oh, please don't lose them all to the AGO. Oh, please don't lose them all to the AGO. Peel these off, please. Ooh, okay. Not bad, not bad. I've certainly seen worse. I've seen a lot of people micro all of their Marauder towards the AGO. You need quite literally 2 Marauder to kill an advanced geothermal, so glad to see that we only lost maybe a fourth of them there. Fusion reactor popping in the air lab, but more importantly than not, the build power popping right there, meaning that the air player will be out of production for essentially the rest of this game. Lab goes down as well, guaranteeing it. And now with Marauder shelling away at the wind turbines, advanced metal extractors, and everything else here, all hope appears to be lost for the blue team. The last vestiges of any hope exist on this northern side over here as welders march forward alongside a couple of lighting tanks who have been shut down quite nicely by Razorback and a couple of abductors with their heavy EMP beam, paralyzing anything that they should come across. Sumo, Sheldons, lightning tanks, ticks, grunts, pawns, all of it sprinting forward right now, desperately trying to equalize this game. And for what it's worth, they are fairly equalized. Depends a little on reclaim and whatnot here. Capital ship now firing away at whatever it can, which is quite cool. The Red Armada floating forward. The Cortex Armada floating forward here, ready to shut down this forward production facility of the Purple Commander. A Pitbull turret up and running. Goes down just about as quickly. T2 lab falls here as well, and this will all be made very quick work of. Well, that's very nice. Cutting off the reinforcements right there of the Purple Commander means no more harassment on the southern side. Razorback's in position to deal with all this as well, eager to blast down any of those sumo that come marching. Obviously going to take a minute. That's one of the sumo's superpowers. It's just its ability to stay alive. It's got tons and tons and tons more HP. But against something as high damage as the Razorback, there really is no chance. And it looks like the blue team realizes it with their backline crumbled, with their front line dismantled, and with hope rapidly fleeting. the red team manages to capture victory in this explosive game of Beyond All Reason. Some beautiful nukes and some wonderful trees right here in the middle of the map. What an awesome match on Erebos Lake. Thanks a ton for watching, and I sure do hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the very next match of Beyond All Reason. Peace out, everybody, and have a great rest of your day.